Hey guys, it's Nena. Everyone knows a teenager with some intense, non negotiable passion. The musician who regards his craft with monkish reverence. The aspiring astronomer who hosts stargazing nights for her community. The budding physicist who, in an effort to test their understanding of buoyancy, once sank a homemade canoe in the local swimming pool. Yes, those are real examples from my own career. These students have what admissions professionals refer to as an academic spike, which is a clear area of interest that is supported by a track record of engagement and achievement. Highly specialized programs like arts conservatories, aerospace engineering programs, and bachelor's to medical programs are looking for students with a clear spike. And that makes sense. Programs like these often require that students apply from the outset because it can be either difficult or impossible to transfer in later. So the student and the program both need to be very sure that the student is ready to commit. But guess what? It isn't just specialized programs that tend to favor students with an academic spike. In fact, the more selective the college, the more admissions tend to favor students with a spike. In 2025, the Dean of Admission at Dartmouth University, which is an Ivy League, explained it to the New York Times this way. The problem for us is that we have many more qualified, talented, interesting people than we can enroll. Teens who clearly articulate their interests, goals, and potential are most likely to be considered for a spot in the freshman class. Okay, you want to share your interests and goals. As you're surely aware, however, many teenagers, most teenagers I would say, don't have that degree of certainty about what they want to study. And that isn't a problem for them to solve. I want to be very clear about that. Adolescence is characterized by exploration, which yields benefits that emerge in surprising ways, both on a daily basis and across evolutionary time. In other words, neither you as an individual nor we as a species would get anywhere without the natural drive to explore that sort of peaks in the teenage years. And thankfully, most four-year undergraduate programs in the United States allow students to do just that. They will allow you to discover and declare a major near the end of the second year. But as we learned, admissions practices at those same colleges don't align with those realities. Okay, so again, I just wanted to stress that admissions and curriculum are distinct from one another. And the admissions officers prefer that students apply with a major. Those who apply undeclared are not favored. And so the result is that most applicants, even those who are highly qualified and ambitious, find themselves in one of three major dilemmas. Number one, they're ready for college, but they have no idea what they want to major in. Number two, they know what they want to major in, but they want to keep their options open. Number three, they know what they want to major in, but they don't yet have the strongest academic or extracurricular track record to support admission to that major. So what should a spikeless kid do? They can't just manufacture an academic spike over the summer before senior year. A spike really does take years of engagement to develop. And choosing a major based on how interesting or practical it seems will only set a student up to write essays about a subject with which they have very little experience, which is not a winning proposition. They're not going to be able to write strong essays unless they know what they're talking about. But here's the good news. College applicants don't need to invent a version of themselves that doesn't exist. Instead, they need to uncover and honor who they already are and accordingly choose a major around which they can build an honest, compelling narrative. Because here's the bigger picture. The major students indicate in their application is almost always a placeholder because colleges don't generally expect the students to stick to their plans. According to the National Center for Education Statistics, about 80% of students in college change their major at least once. So yes, colleges understand that you may change your major, but admissions practices are bizarre and contradictory and often unfair. On the bright side, being asked to choose a major during the application phase, even if it is just a placeholder, helps students learn to investigate and evaluate their options reflect on their perspectives, and advocate for themselves. They're saying, this is why I deserve to be here. So if you're struggling with a major dilemma, please know that your uncertainty isn't a weakness. Remember that college is supposed to change people, and expecting yourself or your teenager to commit permanently to a long-term plan would be unfair, right? That's why the law prohibits teenagers from signing contracts or even getting tattoos. Commitment at this age is not consistent with what we know about human development or with the pace of social and technological change that's shaping the world that teenagers will inherit. We need them to be flexible. So if you don't really know what you want to do yet, don't worry. With reflection about your strengths and research into your options, you really can stand out from the crowd. And I'll be here to support you at every step of the way. We'll talk more about majors in future videos, but for now, just let me know if you have any questions. And remember, I'm always in your corner.